Imagine this. You're walking through a cityscape, surrounded by factories, traffic, and concrete, and suddenly, you spot a butterfly that hasn't been seen here in over a decade. Not just any butterfly, but one that's been declared a priority species by the government. This isn't just a wildlife story. It's a mirror held up to our relationship with nature in urban environments. And let me tell you, this discovery in Bradford is more than a happy accident. It's a loud, fluttering reminder that we've been underestimating the power of small, overlooked spaces to harbor life that's been written off as lost. Now, I know what you're thinking. Butterflies? In a city? But here's the kicker. This wall brown was last seen in 2009, 17 years ago. That's longer than most of us have been alive. And yet, here it is, freshly emerged, possibly breeding again. What does that even mean? It means that even in places we've labeled as unfriendly to wildlife, ecosystems are fighting back. And the person who found it? A guy named Martyn Priestley who spent 50 years documenting this exact kind of thing. He's not some random guy with a butterfly net. He's a lifer in the conservation game, someone who's literally built a database of decades of observations. And he's telling us that this isn't just a one-off miracle. It's a sign that when we stop treating nature like a luxury and start seeing it as a necessity, even in the middle of a city, things can change. Let's talk about the bigger picture here. Urban areas are often seen as the enemy of biodiversity, right? We're told to save the rainforests, protect the coasts, and leave the cities to concrete and steel. But this butterfly's return is a slap in the face to that narrative. This reserve in Bradford is surrounded by industry, yet it's a gem for biodiversity. How? Because someone chose to fight for it. They didn't just plant a few trees and call it a day. They created a lowland heath habitat, one of the rarest in the UK. And now, that habitat is hosting a species that was all but extinct here. What does that say about us? That we can coexist with nature, even in places where it seems impossible. It's not about saving the wilds from cities, it's about making cities wilder. Here's what's fascinating. The butterfly was found by someone who was showing a conservation group around. That's not a scientist in a lab coat. It's a local, someone who knows the area intimately. This isn't a top-down conservation success story. It's grassroots. It's the kind of thing that happens when communities take ownership of their environment. And yet, how many of us walk past these spaces without a second thought? We drive past them, ignore them, and assume they're just parks or empty lots. But this butterfly's return is a wake-up call. These urban reserves aren't just pretty places, they're lifelines. They're the difference between extinction and survival for species that have nowhere else to go. So what's next? Well, Martyn's team is already checking if the butterfly is breeding again. If it is, that's not just a local victory, it's a blueprint for other cities. But here's the thing, this isn't just about butterflies. It's about rethinking how we value green spaces. It's about realizing that nature doesn't need permission to exist. It just needs a chance. And if this one butterfly can inspire a shift in how we see urban areas, maybe we'll start treating every park, every green corridor, every rooftop garden as part of a larger living network. Because if this tiny creature can make a comeback in a city, imagine what we could do if we stopped seeing nature as something separate from our daily lives and started seeing it as part of it.